in there. But one of the reasons I like to do this with a piping bag, one, it's not as messy. And then secondly, the little rivets that the tip is going to create is going to give you access when you pour your olive oil. So my thought processes on anything that I do is, how can I maximize my meal? How can I get the most nutrition and the most vitamins? See how that leaves a little rivet in there? And so how can I do that? What can I get the most nutrition out of each meal? I don't have time to graze 10 meals a day, and I don't know that many people do, nor do I want to think about it or stress about it or be concerned about it. I want to eat, I want to get it done, and I want to go move on with my day. So how do we do that? And the great thing with this is that you can make a whole bunch of these and have them in the refrigerator. And if you're snacky, you're in a snack mood, your kids are in a snack mood, you're hungry, or you just want to add. Imagine I add these to my eggs. A lot of times I'll just have these on the side with my eggs because they're tasty. Your hummus, what is your hummus providing? There's no carbs in it, right? So you're getting a nice protein source out of your hummus. What I always do is I always have spices. Spices is nutrition. It's another nutritional source for you.
So is that hummus that you're putting in there?
That's hummus, yeah.
I mean, that's it? There's nothing else in it?
Just the hummus. And so what I like to do is I get organic. I'm a big organic. You'll ask him. I'll leave a grocery store if it doesn't have organic. I'm a big believer in it. Sometimes we can't afford it, and that's way okay. You just make the best decisions and the best possible options that are available. But you just take a very simple hummus and put that in or spoon it in. And then what I like to do is sometimes I'll take like a taco blend seasoning. This tonight, all I did tonight was just sprinkle some cayenne pepper. Remember cayenne pepper? Fantastic. So again, these are great little tools that help us with maximizing our health. What wonderful attributes about cayenne pepper? I know it also helps with glycemic index, stabilizes your glucose levels. So that's a huge thing. People don't realize that how much per se medicine is in your spice cabinet, and we overlook those benefits a lot of times. Garlic, fantastic. Garlic, you can't go wrong with garlic. So all I did was I took these, piped this in, and it's starting to come out the wrong way. And the big thing on this is just make sure that you have the ability to rivet that out. And then you are pouring the olive oil over those. And the reason is, why? Maximize your fats. How can I get more fat? Every time you look at something, how can I get more fat? How can I get more into me? And that way you don't have to come back and eat. Again, you're going to be full. Again, you're going to get nutrition. And it tastes good. Your skin's going to look good. Your mind's going to think clearer. You're going to have something tasty. And quite frankly, it's okay to lick your fingers and enjoy your food.
Can you make your own hummus? Is it easy?
It is. And I had fabulous recipes that I got while I was over there in culinary school. I'll have those posted up on Sky for y'all to try those out. So the other thing I'm going to have pass around here is I made this last night, and I wanted y'all to try it. This is a garam masala. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that spice blend. It's a fabulous spice blend. And what I did was I roasted some nuts for y'all last night, and I added some unsweetened desiccated coconut, and of course I use coconut oil. So again, I'm maximizing. How can I add in the fats? How can I get a healthy fat into the diet and get the nutrition that I want and the taste that I want to enjoy. I had to get Jillian out of this morning because she wanted to take it all to her teacher and her friends. And again, some of the things that I'll do with a spice blend like this, it's easy to make. You store it. You can put this into like a food processor and blend it really quickly. if you have a meat, a pork tenderloin, a chicken breast, anything like that, you then crust it on top of it because you've broken it down in the food processor, and then you roast it, and that drips and slowly goes into your meats. It's fabulously tasty. So these, just have them try that out. And again, the recipes are coming out for y'all to try. Jill, could you bring me one of those trays, one of the wooden plank trays? Thank you, love. Now, I made this, and those that do have sensitivities towards sugar, avoid this. But what I wanted to show y'all, again, my instructor over there in Ireland had a passion for desserts and bread, and I'm so thankful that she did, because it was stunning. I mean, it was things that I've not ever been exposed to, and seeing how easy it is to enjoy something that really brings people together that they enjoy. But in my mind's eye, I was constantly thinking, how can I adjust this? How can I change this recipe and make it into something that's healthy along the lines that I think? And so last night, what I made y'all here is a pistachio brittle. And what I used, again, they're coming with y'all's recipes, by the way, is raw sugar. So sugar that hasn't been refined. There's still nutrition based in the sugar. Instead of corn syrup, which is very common in a brittle, I used coconut nectar. And then I used ghee. So instead of a processed butter, I used a very nutritionally dense butter. And so these are, and then there's hemp seed as well. Again, I'm always looking at ways, how can I maximize? How can I push the envelope, still get the flavor? May not be what you're always used to, but oh my goodness, step outside the box. How many times do you try something and you're just like, wow, that was amazing? And so quit thinking that it has to look like the stuff that's at the grocery store, which is typically really nasty. And try to make it into something nutritional, and now that becomes your norm, is my theory, at least. Here, Dr. Curtis. And I can add more as that tray gets out. And I like that because even if you do have a sugar sensitivity, you still have to, a lot of times, cook for your family or for holidays or things like that. So this gives you another option, you know, that maybe on those days, my clients that I work with, I encourage a cheat day. I usually, and it really depends on, of course, your health situation, but I like to allow that to happen. A lot of times you have certain cravings and things like that. And what's fabulous is as you clean up your diet, and if you go back and eat something really nasty that you thought you were craving, like an Almond Joy, and you eat it and you go, oh my gosh, that is really disgusting. But they figure it out on their own, and they're like, that really wasn't as good as I thought. Or you get stomach cramps, or it just makes you feel horrible, and you didn't realize it before because your body was so toxic, so full of just junk. But now that your body's clean and you can hear it talk to you, then you go, wow, no, let's not do that. That's okay. So what I'm going to do for y'all now, one of a really common thing that, this is what I do. I typically eat dinner. I don't eat anything until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Eating in the form of food going into my mouth, let's put it that way, because as you saw on a slide, a fat is an energy source. So you may not physically be consuming something by your jaw chomping on something, but you are technically in a way eating because you're taking in a fat. You're taking in an energy source. Does that make sense? So what I do in the morning is make fatty coffees. And my fatty coffees range anywhere between 40 to 60 grams. And I usually have about 2 cups. So it normally gets me between 40 and 60 grams of fat in my diet. And I'm happy, I'm satisfied, I'm full, I don't feel in any way deprived. And so
How much is that in tablespoons? What would the equivalent of tablespoons, like of grass-fed, or oil? Do use oil?
you're looking at the mLs that's on here?
I was looking at that wondering, I have to say.
They do the mLs over there. So you have 10 mLs, that's a teaspoon. Mm-hmm.
That's actually 2 teaspoons.
7.5 is actually, but I won't get technical with you. It's close enough. Especially for a spice. If you were baking a cake, you would need to be very specific. I use when I cook, I use a scale. I don't measure anything now. It's just how we were taught. Just because things, your teaspoon and my teaspoon could be very different. So
Now, in the coffee though, what do you put in 1 cup of coffee?
yes.
How much butter and how much coconut or oil?
You know, I did not put a specific on that because if you're not used to it, you need to start with what your taste buds.
Okay.
And you also need to listen to your body because as you get into a ketogenic state, your body's not going to be happy for a while. You're not going to feel good, and that is okay. When you start feeling like that, you go, yes, I'm on the road to recovery. Yes, I know, but you need to know those things. If you go in and nobody tells you that you're not going to feel good, you're going to think something's wrong with you or that it's not working. And I would rather know those things so that way when I start feeling like crud, I know what's going on. And what is happening is your body is starting to recognize and use the energy in a different way. So instead of seeking out that sugar that we've been poisoned to think that's what we need to feel good or to find our energy source or whatever the case might be. I'm sluggish, I'm going to go get a Coca-Cola. Back up, wrong. So we've had those misconceptions, and so now you're telling your body, you know what, I'm not going to give you that anymore. So what does the body do? It has to learn how we were originally designed, and so that's a process. So and a lot of times people are very uncomfortable with the way the fat hits the tongue when you start on a keto or a fatty coffee. It just tastes, they're not used to it. They're, what is that? That's why I like to blend it. You do not have to blend it. At this point, I'm so used to it, I just dump my stuff in and stir it and I'm good. But if you're not, don't do it.
I have a little twirler from Amazon.
Yeah, twirlers are great. Go with the twirler. So I usually put between a fourth to anywhere between a half and a fourth a cup of cream in mine. I put about a tablespoon, depending on if I had a really rough workout at the gym, to 2 tablespoons of ghee into my coffee. And the product that I have over here that I'm going to show you, I love it. The only thing that I would make it like I'm absolutely over the top in love with the product would be if it was in glass. I need a spoon. But it's not in glass. But it is in a plastic that supposedly is okay. So that's a good thing. But why I like the product is because it is all in one. And for me, that's important because a lot of times you're busy. You don't have time to be messing with things, and you don't want to have like 10 products out and you're trying to just make a cup of coffee in the morning. You just want a cup of coffee. Come on. So this product, you can get this at Walmart, which woohoo, Walmart is really improving their product line. Oh my gosh, way to go, Walmart. So anyway, so it has the coconut and the ghee all in one. And the other product that I like, they only have at Natural Grocers and Sprouts in town, and it's Nature's Way. It's not coming. So again, you're just going to dump this into your coffee.
What's that called? What's the name of
The brand itself is Carrington Farms, and it's a ghee. It's organic. Remember Kiki? Organic coconut oil and ghee all in one.
What is ghee?
It is clarified butter, is what it is. So when you take a stick of butter, and that's a process that you learn in the kitchen. The reason that they make clarified butter is to make sauces pretty. Thank you, my love. You don't want your hollandaise sauce cloudy. You want it beautiful and yellow and gorgeous when it comes out on the plate. That's why they made clarified butter, just so you know. And it's about a 20-minute process on the stove. Most people don't want to do that. They just want to buy the product. It's really easy. There's nothing difficult about it, but most people just don't want to even put up with that. So you put your ghee in. Again, organic cream. Those that don't have a sugar sensitivity, if you I don't want to say demand, if you just enjoy coffee and you want a little bit of sweetener in your coffee, go honey. Go organic honey. And the reason is because you're getting the health benefits of a honey in your body. I remember there's a lot of great benefits of honey, from allergies, microbacterial. It's just, there's a lot of great benefits in the body that honey provides. So that's the type of sweetener I suggest to go. But if you have a sugar sensitivity, it's not your friend. When you get to the point where your body's an engine, I have a little bit more flexibility because of how much I exercise and that I've been doing ketos for so long. My system's very efficient, so I have a little bit more flexibility. I still only put like a teaspoon of honey in my coffee. I don't put a lot. I don't need a lot, and that's not all the time. It's just every once in a while I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. So I do it, and then several days I don't do it. So it just whatever. The other thing that I put in here, cinnamon. There's 2 types of cinnamon. Isn't that just great? So the one that you want is the Ceylon cinnamon. It's on your paperwork. CEYLON. Oh, the U.S. Don't we love them sometimes? So the one that we get is normally bright red that you get here, and it looks like the cigar. It looks like a red cigar that's sort of brittle on the stick. It's not good for you. It's bad for the liver. You want this. Why do we do this? Because it stabilizes our glucose level. This is a light brown, as you can tell, and I'll let Dr. Curtis, he can pass around the bottle. When you smell it, it's almost peppery. It's much more intense than the cinnamon we are used to. Natural grocers, Sprouts. Not sure what the HEB on Saratoga. That may be another source. Online. It's your only source. It's not out here at the Walmart, and it's not at the HEB out here. It's very difficult to find, actually. So when you see it, you're all happy and jumping for joy, and people think you're neurotic when you're in the grocery store. So anyway, put that all in here.
Smell it.
It smells different, doesn't it?
I can't smell it.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's very
I'm
disappointing.
nasally deprived.
Oh, it is.
Deficient.
I have cinnamon. Okay. Okay, so, and the reason, again, I do this is a lot of people are they're not comfortable yet with the taste and the texture of the fat hitting their tongue. So you just got to come up with creative ways to get used to that.
What kind of coffee did you put in there?
I like Organo. I sell that. I believe in it. It keeps your body in an alkaline state, which I don't if y'all have covered that or not. It is. It definitely helps with making your body run efficiently. It helps with your body, I guess, removing toxins.
Is it an instant?
It is, and it has Ganoderma in it, which is, I'm a huge fan. I know, I'm a huge coffee drinker, and I love the smell of it percolating, and you smell that smell, and you know, you just,
Yes.
oh, wonderful.
Sure, firehouse would work really good.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And what's also great about this is it travels with you so well. So I love that you have the ability to do that with this coffee. And there's different flavors that people enjoy. There's mocha, there's a latte, there's cocoa, hot cocoa. There's tea, green tea, and red tea. There's also Keurig style cups. So you have availability to be flexible, and it, like I said, it keeps it in an alkaline state. If you are into the waters and things like that, everything, I always look at ways to, how do I reprogram my body? How do I get my body to be listening to us? It's also a reason why, you know, like we'll tell you to eat certain foods to try to keep the body even killed. And the great thing with this is you don't get like that acid reflux that you normally get with a coffee that a lot of people struggle with. Ganoderma, what's really cool about Ganoderma is it is an adaptogen agent. So, what is that? Well, what's great is try to say it. So, what this herb does, it's a mushroom, and it's in all Organo's product. You can't taste it, so I don't want to ever hear like, oh, it tastes like a mushroom. No, it doesn't. It prepares the body to absorb and take in the nutrition that you need for it to function. So it helps it communicate, helps your body communicate. It will prepare the body so as you go through and take in all this other nutrition that is going on in this beautiful cup, you get to maximize that nutritional benefit.
Oh, is it got caffeine in it, or is there caffeine?
There is, but this will not. You're not going to have, I know that some might be fearful of being up at night. It's not going to happen. The great thing with fat, what does fat do? Mellows you out. It jellos you. Mellow jello. Jonah, how many times before our meetings did I say people needed to do a butter lollipop? We would go into our political meetings and I said, you know what? I'm going to make butter lollipops for everybody. And you're all going to eat it because we all love each other and we're all going to get along. Dang it.
Let's send some to Washington.
Yes. So tired of this. So that's what fat does as well. So you don't have that high, you don't have that low. What do y'all think of that?
Can you still drink regular coffee on top of this?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
It's part of this fasting.
This is what I would recommend, huh?
Well, this is what I'm talking about at the fatty coffee or fatty tea that morning. This is an example of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that means you shouldn't be drinking your normal regular coffee also, or can you get by doing
Yeah.
that?
I'm not saying you can't, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm looking for some volume. This is
For
coffee. I drink a bunch of coffee.
And I love coffee. I think what happens with this is that this has a lot of froth. That's the only reason I'm moving that back through. The reason I like this, again, it's to maximize my time. If you don't have the time to be doing that, you can make a blender of this, put it like in one of the big little coffee to go cups, and you have a fatty coffee. You have a replacement basic meal in your coffee mug. Because there's so much fat in this, there's so much energy source in this that it's there for you. So you can drink that all day long if you want to. it's a meal for you in the cup. So the other thing that I want to show y'all, did anybody want some more coffee? Yeah?
He said he wants volume.
Yeah? Jillian, did Jillian get one?
That's very tasty.
It's good, isn't it?
Thank you.
So the other option that I want to give y'all is on a meal replacement. Don't need that. Do y'all have a preference over vanilla or chocolate? Are we good with chocolate? Is everybody good with chocolate? Yes? Okay. All right.
Kimberly, is that coffee gluten-free, the little packet?
Yes, ma'am. All right.
You're gonna tell us that in minute, aren't you?
All right. So, this is the organo product. Do we have the standard process one?
I can grab it.
Okay. Dana, can you come get this and wash this for me, love? All right, so what I'm gonna do is, and I love this product, and my kids love this product. What's great is that it is a complete meal replacement. It's full of your nutritional breakdowns. Where you get me that standard process jug? Yes. And your vitamins and things like that. Again, it has the Ganoderma in it, so I just love it. It's great. We'll take this and say if we're on the road, and you can't typically get this on the road, but I can normally get like a thing of milk, like whole milk for my kids. Thank you. I can put a scoop of this into that whole milk jug and shake it up, and they'll drink it, and it's delicious. They absolutely love it. Now, my preference, obviously, is to get more out of my shakes. So, what I like to do, they call for, I think, maybe skim milk or half and half at 2%. No, ever, no. It's always whole milk. If you're gonna do milk, half and half is the next step. Cream is the best. So again, it's all about fat. How can I get enough fat into my diet?
If you're sensitive to all of those, the almond milks would be an alternative. It's
Coconut
similar.
milk.
Coconut milk, these would be similar, they don't have the same sugar content.
Yes.
And the allergy profile of dairy.
Mm-hmm.
But like heavy whipping cream would be the top that level up to get it in there, okay?
Yes. Yes. This is. I never buy milk. If I need a milky, like I need it to be not as heavy, basically, I get half and half. But even for them, if they ask for warm milk, which is, the kids love warm milk, so I'll put this with some honey and some cinnamon in a bowl and warm that up, and they drink that. Because again, the fat calms them down, and it mellogels them. It gives them the nutrition. For an athlete, it's essential. My kids are very rarely injured and out of commission, ever. Myself, I recover very, very quickly, and the reason is because of the high fat. You have to have that.
So what she's preparing here is an example, just one of several examples of meal replacement shakes for the person. Like she said, it's quick, it's on the go. So it's just another way. It doesn't always have to be, a giant meal. I have patients that tell me that, I don't have time to cook or this or that. This is that option.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Most definitely. And it's a quick shake. Like say you're in between meals and you need to pick me up, or you're just, maybe you're hungry, maybe you had more activity, maybe you started a new workout regimen, maybe you were helping somebody move, Maybe you have some mental stress. That takes more calories. So when y'all think those things, don't think there's some, I wasn't as hungry. If you're more stressful, the brain has to have something to function with. It's okay. The key is training your body to go to a good source to fuel us instead of the wrong source to fuel us. And the wrong source meaning sugars is what I'm referring to.
What's the sugar content?
On this,
Yep.
so this is 1 scoop, and it has 11 grams of carbs. 3 grams of that is fiber, and 7 grams of sugar. Has 13 grams of protein and 1.5 grams of fat. Okay.
Where did you get that?
This is Organo. This is the same coffee that I sell.
Oh,
We
you're
sell
sell-
this as
you're
well.
the supplier
Mhm.
for that one.
I'm a supplier. And so, and you gotta, this right here, so 1 tablespoon, y'all just saw I poured in like, wait, 1 tablespoon, and I'm still gonna keep pouring, has 5 grams of fat in this sucker. So this is where it comes from. This is how you're getting all that fat and nutrition and stuff like that into your body, is through that source.
And then the scope of a low carbohydrate diet, that's a pretty minimal amount for a quote meal. It's, you know, even with vegetables, you have very low carbohydrate intake. So 7 grams of total actual sugar, if you will, is quite low. That's important because you don't want to take, there's a lot of shakes out there that you gotta be very careful how much sugar is in there.
And the great thing is it's real sugar. It's not synthetics, and that's a big key for me. So a lot of these things that that people on low carb are attracted to, they're synthetic sugars. I'm not putting synthetic sugars in my body. It's only the real stuff that's going into my body. Because again, everything is nutritional. What am I feeding? What are you feeding your body? You're going to feed it health and nutrition, or some chemical that you don't know how you're going to respond to in the long run. So I like to add a little bit of chia, not too much, because it does, think of chia, if you have not used a chia seed, tapioca pudding,
Yeah.
it bubbles up sorta. It has a very similar effect, okay? So just think along that line. So be cautious. Put some in, because look, 1 tablespoon, 4 grams of fat. 1 tablespoon, that's huge. You got 2 grams of protein, 1 tablespoon. That's great. And then you have 5 grams of carbohydrates, and that's dietary fiber carbohydrates. Look at the breakdown when you're looking at that. A carbohydrate is not just a carbohydrate when you're looking at things, okay? The hemp seed, I add this to a lot of stuff all the time. 3 tablespoons is 15 grams of fat and 3 tablespoons of hemp seed.
What do you use the hemp seed for?
I put it-
I know
the
the other
pistachio?
end,
Mhm.
thickening.
I'll put it in my salads. I would have put it on my the bell peppers that I gave y'all. I put it on just about everything. The
Okay.
kids know it. They just go give me the hemp seed. So we're always putting it in some. And again, it's just an enhancement. If you're already putting something together, just put some in. Just add a little bit more. Yes, sir.
When you said synthetic sugars, are you including stevia in there?
Stevia is a natural source. I don't respond well to it. Some people are fine with it. So if you're good with it, that's an option for you. I'm very sensitive to anything. I don't take sugar in very well as it is. I don't. That's why I don't do desserts. I don't feel well with it. So anything that's not a raw sugar, a natural sugar like honey or sugar in the raw or something like that, it's like almost like an instant stomach ache for me. So I just stay away from it altogether. Just listen to your body. Again, the cleaner you get with your diet, the more it will respond. And it has always responded. It's just if your diet has been clean enough to allow you to hear it, to talk to you, if that makes sense. Because a lot of times, like our kids, as we've taken them off of wheat, they now when they eat it, they'll immediately get sort of like a bloated stomach, and they feel heavy, and maybe a little lethargic afterwards. But until we started taking it out, you didn't realize it. You just thought you felt like crud all the time, or you didn't even know you felt like crud. But now you do, and so it gives you a chance to listen your body to speak to you. Dana, that blender, is it coming back to me, love? So these are our eggs from our farm. And these are farm fresh. These are, our chickens are very, very happy campers. Has anybody ever had a raw egg in their shake? Is anybody scared of it? Please don't be scared of it. This, it doesn't taste like anything. And an egg is it really is the perfect meal because you have fat and you have protein. If you do not have fat with a protein, it will turn to a glucose source. It does not matter what you do. You have to have fat with your protein, period. So, that's what I do. So put in a couple of those. And I don't trust anything that's gonna whip around. Because you know that's gonna fly back someday. It's
I
gonna
don't
fly
do
back.
it.
Yep. Moved around just a little bit more.
There's Aborigines, the traditional, Australian cultures. If they catch an animal or a rabbit or some kind of varmint, if it doesn't have fat on the meat, they won't eat it.
It's usually a sign that the animal was
There's
unhappy.
either something wrong with the animal, but they believe that part of it is traditionally, it upsets them, their digestion to eat just a protein by itself.
And it's totally against what we've been trained. We always go for the lean meat. It's very upsetting nowadays that you can barely find meat in a market that has skin and bones on it. Like it's a manufactured Mickey D's meal in a package. Because you need it. You've got to get your L-lysines, you've got to get your fats out of those sources, and you can't get it because they've removed them for you. That option's been taken away. Now-
She mentioned earlier that the idea of the kind of when you first start changing over your diet, I think that changeover when people feel a little wompy for a bit, I believe it's this transition window that people get into
It's
when
that
the body's
first 2
starting to
weeks.
change.
It's the first 2 weeks of the diet. You got to keep in mind that sugar is a drug. Any drug takes 2 weeks for it to get out of your body and to break the addiction. Your mitochondria, which I know he wasn't going to get into that, we discussed this earlier, that is what communicates at a cellular level on how to process the energy in your body. You have to reprogram it. And that's what takes time. And it's not happy for a while. And it's trying to figure out what's going on, which it will. It's adaptable. It's pretty darn smart if you think about it. But again, it's also, if you know that within 2 weeks you're going to start feeling amazing, your body's going to be healthier, you might actually be able to remove certain things that have been encumbersome, in your life. Maybe certain medications. It hurts to move. You're not going to hurt anymore. Things like that. I mean, imagine what a blessing that is that within 2 weeks, just 2 small weeks, that could change. That to me is just amazing that the body can change that quickly.
I did the 10-day sugar cleanse, and I was expecting to have a lot of energy, and I didn't. And that was probably why, because I had
It's 10
had
days.
a very festive Thanksgiving.
You're still in that.
You were trying to get all of that back out. Yeah, yes. It does, and you know, and that's hard because that is a 10-day cycle. So you never really get to that. Wow, I'm feeling better stage, you know. But with the ketogenic, you do.
I did feel better though after the 10 days.
Good.
My
Like
waist
that.
had gone down and I'd lost weight.
Yeah, yeah. What's also nice is that 10-day cleanse is a great segment to then stay with the
Stay with it,
ketogenic.
uh-huh.
So instead of going, I think the hardest part in that is the lack of protein and fat. It's a very difficult. It's a very difficult 10 days to have that.
But I
It's
haven't
not
gone
an
back
option.
to sugar, so I'm really
That's
happy about
good.
that.
Very, very
Lost the
good.
craving for sugar.
Kim, they say on the, because I've been doing the ketogenic diet, and they say when you go through that keto flu like that,
Yes.
to keep the, not the powder form, but the rock form of the Himalayan, pink Himalayan salt, and stick it under your tongue, and that'll help.
The mineral is huge. Yes, that is one thing, you know, like for Dana, the athlete, that is one thing that we do with her water. Actually, we use gray salt is what I use. But Himalayan pink salt or gray salt are your two options that you want. And the reason is because there's actually nutrients within the salt. If you get white or processed salt, it's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. There's nothing left. It's like getting white sugar. There's nothing.
Where do you
there.
get your gray salt from?
They have it in town. It's a Celtic. This one here.
Okay.
You can get that at Sprouts,
At
or
Sprouts?
at Natural Grocers.
Okay.
Yes, you can get that there. We used to sell this. This may come back. Do we need more love?
No. Does everybody have one? Right? Like here.
Here's a few more. I just want to finish this off.
The illness that you were going through, it's called keto flu. Kind of like, it feels like your flu.
But
If you're not
even-
feeling good, you take the salt, the pink Himalayan salt.
But
and
even
stick it under
after
your
that,
tongue.
after you've gotten past the flu stage, you still need to put the salt in your water.
Yes.
Mineral replacement's huge in a ketogenic diet. And you know, we do have mineral replacements like in supplement form, but that's a really easy thing. And you just add a little sprinkle into your water. So you're not turning it into salt water per se, but you're adding a little bit of minerals into the salt. And you'll notice that you'll have less muscle cramps and things like that. Did you want me to make the standard process one for them to try?
No, I think those two would be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we good?
The
Okay.
point she was, standard process, everybody that comes here knows that we use all the standard process.
This is-
You could easily use that same base powder. It does have vitamins, things like that. So there's different ways you could do this. But that would be just one more base that you could use for building one of these types of meal replacements that were discussed in this.
Yeah, this just doesn't have, like, it has fat, 1.6 grams of fat, and it has 10 grams of protein, and that's 2 tablespoons of this. And it's I like this, but there's a lot of people that want or still like flavor with their food, and so the taste of a herbal type shake just doesn't appeal to them.
When I did mine, I either had vanilla or chocolate. I
You're
had
trying to
something
add that flavor.
What's the sweetness in this?
That's just plain cane sugar.
It
And
has, like she was saying earlier, 7 grams total,
That's it.
like per
Well,
serving.
it tastes delicious, no?
And that's
Yes.
not a full, that's not a full serving.
Yeah, and
That's
this
like a little micro serving.
and this is 12 grams of carbohydrates in this one, in your serving size. So that one has less sugar than this one does. So again, but if you go in and say you remove pasta and rice and all this other stuff from your meal, and I don't eat that stuff. And if y'all go to my website, when I take a picture of my meal, I break down the fat, the protein, and the carbohydrates, and then I describe the benefits of the carbohydrates on my plate. And why I do that every once in a while, obviously I want to see the post, but also I need to see, because sometimes when I'm making my plate, I'm making the meal, my fat because I try to keep around a 70% intake of fat per meal. So 70% of my calories is in the form of a fat, okay? 20% is coming in the form of protein, and 5% is coming into carbs. And it's not a set rule. It is if you're going into keto, that is the guideline that you go by. But also what it's doing is keeping your mind in a frame of mind of awareness. That's all you're doing. So don't make it complicated on yourself. Are you getting there? Because if you are getting around 7 grams of fat here, and then I just put in probably what? Cup, maybe, of heavy cream?
I think you did more than that.
What is that? You know, you have 15 mLs is 5 grams of fat. You see what I'm saying? I've removed the irrelevance of the 7 grams of carbohydrates because I just squished it with fat. Does that make sense? So your ratio, that 70, 20, 5, you just hit it. That's how you do it. So you find a good source and then you build upon it. And you just become aware of it. So then you start watching and building on that. So anyway, all those recipes are going to be up on my website. If you want to order any of the products, we have the coffee here, and then Dana is set up. She can put orders in for y'all tonight for any of the coffee or any of the meal replacement shakes. It does come in chocolate and vanilla. Super easy. I highly recommend it. And then there'll be more recipes up on my website that y'all can pull off and build upon. And then I'll be available through seminars and online. So y'all shoot me any questions that y'all might have or anything like that. Do y'all have any other questions before I?
Is your website in these handouts?
It is. It is. It's on the bottom of your recipe cards. And then I also have little cards here. And this has all the social media sites that we're on as well. So, and y'all are more than welcome to message me, and I can help y'all out and direct you or answer questions or tell you you're silly, just keep pushing through, and you got it, no problems. So, you have a question, please?
Kimberly, if I was gonna try to do the fasting, and let's say on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I work out a lot, could it be done on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the days that, like, I work out on Tuesday, Thursday, let's just say this. I teach a lot of Zumba classes, and I have severe leg cramps on those days. But let's say would it be better to do it on a day I didn't have extreme exercise, or do it don't matter?
Don't matter.
Okay.
It don't matter. Now, what I can tell you is if you start intaking more of your coconut-based products, your leg cramps will improve. Pickle juice is fantastic.
Yeah.
Your salt, good salt.
What about the pickle juice with blood pressure a little bit? I'm just right at the edge.
You know, your doctor's here. I'm gonna redirect. I have my theories on things like that, but I'm gonna let the doctor take
Pickle
it.
juice, I mean, if you're doing it in small quantities, it's not gonna make a huge
What's
difference.
a small quantity?
I'm not gonna drink a jar of pickle juice, but if you wanna have a little splash at the bottom. The other thing I will tell you is that what she just described with the fats, that actually takes away most of that cramping.
It
Because I
does.
have severe leg cramps
Right.
all the time at night. About 10 o'clock they hit me, and I use the pink salt, and that helps a lot. But sometimes I forget because I'm not used to salt in my food. So
The fatty
Muscle-
acid deficiency is probably more likely to be the
It
reason
is.
for the cramping.
see, I do fat coffee, bulletproof coffee in the morning, but I do a tablespoon of butter, a tablespoon of coconut, and then 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream, and I just drink it in my coffee.
Great.
And I just do it, and that really helps a lot. But apparently during the day, I'm still not getting enough fat.
Oh yeah, and it's the key is everything. Increase any chance you get. Where like your next meal. Say I have a video up that's with clam chowder or cream of mushroom soup. I still add heavy cream. I still add butter or ghee to that, and I'm still making that as fat as possible.
And see, I'm sweating this out though, because like,
It doesn't
if you
matter.
see me at the gym, I'm like wet. I'm
Yes.
a wet girl with the floor wet.
That's great.
You know, so it's extreme sweating, but I'm losing some minerals or something.
Yes, but
I'm
fat
doing-
is essential for repair. you have to have high fat for repair, period.
So maybe that'll stop my leg cramps?
I
You-
would think it's worth trying.
Okay.
You could go home and drink a cup of cream when you get home.
I do that.
Because a lot like today's Tuesday night, I had bad leg cramps, so I drank probably half a cup of it, pickle juice.
Mhm.
You know, I have a certain little glass that I pour it in, and I know it's half a cup.
Yeah.
And so I drank some because it'll stop it fast.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I can increase my fat to take
Yes.
care of it, that would be better.
Right.
Well, that and just you want to get it in a good source. So you don't know. I mean, pickle juice is great because it's easily accessible.
Yeah, but I just don't think it's the best thing.
Exactly. But if you have pink salt, if you have gray
Yeah.
salt, at least
Just
you know
pink.
the source.
I've never had the gray. I use the.
I like the flavor of it as a culinary. I actually taste it, and there is a difference.
Yeah.
So the food
I'll have to try
enhancement is a bit different. So, did anybody else have any other questions? Yeah.
Question for him. Hearing a lot of talk about fat. Where does this all play in the big thing out there in the world about cholesterol levels?
Right, so in 2014, they had two meta-analysis studies, which are meta-analysis